Steve?
Yes.
Oh, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you applying for the job.
Always.
When's the earliest you could start, Tyler?
Kyler.
Mrs. Anderson?
You can call me Marlene.
Okay, Marlene, we appreciate you applying for the job.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Let's just dive right in.
Boom! Go.
What's your availability like?
I'm boycotting daylight savings time, so I'll either be an hour early or an hour late, depending on the seasons.
Tell me a little about yourself.
My mom says I have to get a job, so that's why I'm here, because she wants me to get a job.
Why did you leave your last job?
Of course, Harry, he was, I just felt like he was looking at me in a particular way. Of course, he was blind, so I don't know why I felt that.
Why did you leave your last job, Steve?
Fired. Next question.
So what do you think you bring to the table?
I can read people's energies. Let me read your energy real quick.
Oh.
You're a coyote. Congratulations. I don't run errands, and I don't answer the phone. You know what I do? I look hot. 24 hot. Whatever you need, I can do it. Janitor, CEO, cook, I can do it all. And I have done it all. And I will do it all.
Okay, so you do have experience in all of those areas.
No, but I just believe I can do it. So availability, you know, that's kind of a week-to-week thing for me. Okay. You know, I really just kind of like, we'll see. So
what do you consider your weaknesses?
Chocolate, candy, Snickers.
Okay.
Reese's Pieces.
Okay. Becky, I think we're done here.
Do I get the job?
All right, James, we were talking a little bit offline here just a moment ago. I won't mention the person I was talking to, but you made a comment about humor. And tell me the comment you made about humor so people can kind of understand the context of what we're talking about here.
Well, I said, Clay, you know, if you're capable, you could, you know, do well. But if you're capable and funny, you could do really well.
Well, one of my mentors years ago, he pulled me aside, and he's a very successful person. He's multi-millionaire, and I said to him, what's the management tip that I need to know about managing people? And he says, well, let me just kind of give you my top three. And I go, okay, great. He says, one, nobody will respect and work for a manager that is mentally inferior to them very long. I said, what do you mean? He goes, let me try again. Nobody who is a solid person is going to work for a manager who is inferior to them for very long. So if you are out there today and you have a team of people, don't be the last person to get to work. And don't be the first person to leave. And I think that's a big thing. You've got to make sure that you not only know the way, but you go the way. So if you're out there today and you're managing people, you're going to have to be the kind of person that people would want to work for. The second thing he told me, and this is big, the second thing he told me is if you ever have to give someone feedback, it's kick and hug, you know? Kick and hug. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you're going to have to give the person the feedback, and they're going to perceive it as a personal attack, but then also give them the encouragement. So it's a kick and a hug. You know, he said, because most people cannot handle just feedback without some kind of praise to it. And I said, okay. And he goes, the final thing is if you're going to be honest, you'd better be funny. And I said, what? He goes, I'm telling you, if you're going to be honest, you better be funny because a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. If you're not funny, it's just not going to work. So on today's show, we're going to talk about how to manage wonderful people on the planet Earth. And I always start off our shows, if I can, with a little humorous anecdote or something that makes me laugh at least, because the stuff you're going to learn on these shows sometimes is not super comfortable when you recognize that your company's dysfunctioning because you're dysfunctional. And sometimes it's not fun to discover that the reason why your organization isn't organized is because you're not organized. Thus, it's not an organization. Sometimes when you look at yourself and you say, man, my culture is weird, it's because you are weird and you are setting the culture. So, again, on today's show, we're going to walk you through how to manage wonderful people on the planet Earth. But I would just encourage everybody out there to keep those 3 pro tips in mind. Make sure that you are the kind of leader that people would actually want to follow. That's big. 2, make sure that you're someone who sets the tone in the office. You set the tone, set the energy, set the pace. And the 3rd is if you're going to be honest, you'd better be funny. And now, without any further ado, how to manage great people on this wonderful planet called Earth.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would 2 men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? because they believe in you. And they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zoellner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Clinton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm a dive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. It's Business School Without the BS, featuring optometrist turned entrepreneur, Dr. Robert Zoellner, with USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark.
It is the Thrive Time Show, let your boom begin, where we drop knowledge bombs for you in Portland, teaching the proven systems to make your ends, so you can produce the greenery like all the Oregon. Sue will call you Franklin cause you got Benjamins, we'll call you Ben Pearl cause you just bought a Benz, and then you'll be bragging to your wife and kids that your wallet's overweight but it used to be thin. Thumbs away, this is Clay broadcasting with the Zen, with the focus locked in like San Quentin. Can I get a B to the O to the M? You've heard the rumors, he is I and I is him. He be the Z and I be the C. Now it's teaching business skills from Clay to Z. We both grew up poor, but we're poor no more. The goal of the show is to help you soar. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, and I'm joined here with my co-host today, Mr. Eric Chupp, the renowned business coach. And we have, Chupp, we have some intelligence in the studio today. We have Dr.
Nice,
John Sibley. He's really bringing up the IQ, the average IQ here. So, Dr. Sibley, how are you today, my friend?
I am wonderful.
Awesome. Well,
Good to see you.
Well, today we were talking about, Chupp, we're answering questions. We have 8 questions from Thrivers, 8 questions. And I've really been attempting to not answer these questions for like the last week because I wanted to bundle them all up into the same show. Because I think that, Chupp, if I'm not careful, I might sound negative when I answer these questions. So your job is to help keep me, you know, when you go to when you do bowling, and your kids, you're bowling with like 5-year-olds and 3-year-olds. They'll put the bumpers up.
Bumpers, yeah.
And the bumpers keep the ball from going into the gutter.
It's a guardrail.
Your job is to get us out of the gutter there. But Dr. Sibley's managed a ton of people over the years. I've managed a ton of people over the years, and you've managed a ton of people over the years.
We've seen people. That's true.
So we could, by default, if we are not careful, we could go into the gutter.
Say things like, I hate people.
So here we go. So the first question is how to control better the little mistakes that photographers make. This is a Thriver out there that has a photography business.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted to know how to control better the little mistakes that photographers make. And so I'm going to give an idea, and I want you to put this on the show notes, and I'm going to bat this around. We're going to bat it around. Dr. Sibley and I can get into this, okay? It'll be kind of fun.
Let's do it.
If you insist on perfection, this is my take, then you can only scale beyond what you can do. If you can accept a 3% error rate, then you can scale something. So this would be an example that I think is not really positive for most people, but like for our haircut place, Elephant in the Room, we cut hair for thousands and thousands of guys. We have a guy yesterday that comes into our store who writes on social media that I don't care about our clients because he wasn't happy. He just writes, I don't care. And because he has been gifted with a Facebook account, he now can write whatever he wants.
From the Lord on high.
And I called the guy. I want to make sure that everybody knows. I called the guy because I was told about it, and I deal with all my burning fires on the way home. So I try to personally deal with them if I can. I am not exaggerating. I called the guy 30 times. And he hung up on me once. and he won't talk because he's a champion of the keyboard. He's a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
But yet he won't talk on the phone. So I had to go to bed and get up today with a stoic mindset, meaning that I can't concern myself with the emotions of things I cannot control, and I have to focus on what I can control. So, Mr. Photographer out there, I would say that your action item is you want to spend a ton of time training your team. Train. That's the action item. Spend your time training, and recruiting. Training and recruiting. But Dr. Sibley, I mean, after you've trained and recruited and you're doing the best, don't you have to kind of like forget the rest? I mean, if you've absolutely trained to the best level, and I mean, talk to me about the balance, because I know you're a perfectionist. What's the balance here?
Well, the balance is, and getting back to what you're saying about, these negative 2 or 3% of the people that take your energy. So we've got to move on, move on to those other 97% that are so wonderful and so fun to treat or guide or manage or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But perfection is what I think all, entrepreneurs have.
So you want to aim for perfection. I'm just trying to make sure the listeners get this. Michael Jordan, I read recently rereading a book called 11 Rings that's about Phil Jackson and coaching Michael Jordan and what that was like. And one thing that Phil Jackson points out and that Michael Jordan points out is that Michael shot about 50% from the field. So when he shot a basketball, Chup, he only made the basket 50% of the time.
That's 1 out of 2.
Right.
If you're wondering.
But yet he missed a lot of shots that could have allowed his team to win a game.
Yeah.
And he talks about how you just have to have the mindset of like you just don't worry about, dwell upon, think about the shots you miss. But there's a lot of people that are so obsessed with perfection and they feel so emotionally down when they make a mistake that they should not be an entrepreneur in my mind.
Absolutely.
So the question is how to better control the little mistakes that photographers make. I'm giving you the specific examples. So step 1, Chup, we'll want to set up a weekly training with your team. That's step 1. All right. So step 1, you set up a weekly training every single week. Right. Step 2, you set up weekly recruiting. Every single week when I ran Epic Photography, we recruited people every week. Every single week. Every week we do it. You know why we do it? Because every week someone's going to be moving on, someone's going to graduate, someone's going to get married, someone's going to get divorced, someone's going to move, someone's going to get upset, someone's going to take a new job. And if you are building your business on a house of cards, you're going to lose. So you set up that weekly group interview. We have a lot of shows where we talk to you, we teach you specifically how to conduct a weekly group interview, but we do a weekly interview with all the candidates at one time. Step 2, set up weekly recruiting. And step 3, analyze your numbers once a week. And this is like, I'm just telling you, I'm teaching myself here. I mean, this is something that I am really good at now, but if I am not careful, if I am not intentional, I will let that negative 1% or 2% upset me. Like I'll train people. So like for the elephant in the room the other day, I'm just telling you, we have a guy who just goes on a rant about how we don't care about our customers. And it got to me because he just kept going. And so we had to like defriend him and whatever. But all I'm saying is it's a deal of like, yeah, I mean, when you put your heart and soul into something and then people just spend their whole day complaining on social media about it. I mean, yeah, that's a little frustrating, but at the same time, only if you give energy to it. And so I don't know, Dr. Sibley, whenever, you had a complaint about an employee who worked for you, or you ever had a problem in the past that wasn't your direct work, but it was an employee on your team, how did you emotionally handle that?
Well, I have had hundreds of employees over the years, and I think that some of the people are just a joy to work with, and then you have those negative few that cause trouble. And you either deal with it quickly,
right,
and let go of that idea and that problem, or you can let it fester and it will be contagious throughout your entire office.
Right.
So what you have to do is just nip it. Let's get this problem done right now, get it out of the office, move on, make it profitable.
So here are some knowledge bombs for you. Paul Graham, this is the guy who built Airbnb, Dropbox, Reddit. He says perfectionism is often an excuse for procrastination. Chubb, in your mind, what does that mean?
Well, I see this a lot with not just entrepreneurs, but people like even my daughter, right? Like she'll want to not go brush her teeth yet because she's getting everything perfect. Like people want to talk about how, well, it's not ready yet. I can't launch this site yet. I can't go and do this new service yet that I know is going to be profitable. And they're really covering up for procrastination. They're really just not wanting to get started for whatever reason, but they label it with perfectionism. So going back to what we were talking about, if you've got to be able to accept that, around 3% error rate if you want to scale something beyond yourself.
You just have to accept there'll be a certain amount of errors. When I ran Epic Photography, we won the award from the Knot.com, and you can go to website, go to epicphotos.com right now, and you can see the awards. We won the awards pretty much every year with an exception. I think we missed one or two where we won the award from the Knot.com as the best photographer, which is like the best wedding photographer in the industry every year. But that being said, this is what's crazy, Chubb. If we would do 100 weddings, 100 weddings. Do you know how many weddings we would just ruin their wedding? Like where the mom would call me crying and yelling and screaming and would not stop.
Got to be at least one.
It'd be like 3%.
Yeah.
So every weekend I would basically ruin 3 people's lives.
For that weekend, anyways.
I'm just saying though. And that's just how. But if you're gonna do wedding photography, I mean, we've had photographers that are out there doing their best, but if the mom feels like that wasn't good enough, we train and train and train. But think about it. I mean, how many humans out there, if you're cutting hair, if I'm a master at cutting hair, is it likely that I'm going to cut 100 people's hair in a row without making any mistake at all? No. And so the mindset you have to have is stoicism. And stoicism doesn't concern itself with complicated theories about the world, but with helping people overcome the destructive emotions so that you can act on what can be acted on. It's built for action, not this endless debate. Another example for the Judeo-Christians out there was a prayer that was written many, many moons ago, and a lot of people say it. They're into it. There's books written about it. It's called the Serenity Prayer. I like to call it the Stoicism Prayer, but it's the same thing. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot control, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever in the next. That's what I go back to. That's like the well I go back to. And I can just tell you yesterday it was just like I was getting hammered. I mean, just yesterday was just absolutely pelted with complaints in one of our companies. And it was like the same number percentage-wise of complaints we would have, but it was a massive, there's really a violent minority who just decided to just spend their night just going off. Oh yeah. And so again, if I didn't have that mindset, my head would explode, Chubb.
Yeah, you would feel terrible. It would weigh on you. It'd feel like a wet blanket draped around you when you wake up, when you go to bed.
Right.
It would be corrupting force on your family time. That kind of stuff just gets in your head. So the idea of stoicism, of being able to get over things and not be swayed by emotions throughout your day, is so important as you run and grow a business.
Now, Chubb, you know what one emotion that I feel every Monday morning? Chubb, do you know the emotion I feel every Monday morning?
You're so excited to see me soon.
I'm excited to see you, but I'm also excited to run into the office.
True.
And to go into the bathrooms and to see how phenomenally clean they are. It's like my own little, it's like the feeling you feel before Santa the night before Christmas.
Christmas bathrooms. I agree.
I get a joy. I'm going, I wonder what kind of gift they're going to give us. And Chubb, every time I go to the restrooms, I've discovered that the good folks at the Classic Janitorial Service, these guys have left us an incredible gift, Chubb.
It's classic janitorial. That's what they do. They come into your office when you're not there and they clean that thing up. Get a hold of these guys if you got a space that you need to get cleaned, and stop wasting your time doing that. You can get a hold of them at theclassicclean.com, theclassicclean.com, or call them at 918-671-2046. One more time, it's 918-671-2046. They're actually offering free cleaning of your high traffic walk areas.
Come on.
They're going to shampoo your carpet or
how's
buff
it
the
possible?
tile. Typically, companies charge $1,000 a month or more for this service, but for new clients, they're going to do it for free. So just tell them that the Thrive Time Show sent you. 918-671-2046.
These guys, they work with DuPont. They work with Google. They work with News Star. Chup, I don't know if our listeners are completely sold on this, but I'll tell you this. If you're out there cleaning your own bathrooms and you're an entrepreneur, it's probably not your highest and best use. So do what the big companies do. Do what we do. Call our good friends at Classic Janitorial. 918-671-2046.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrive Time Show.
Thrive Time Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab. Let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1. Here come the business ninjas.
Sonic boom.
Oh, yes, Thrive Nation. Welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio, where I pride myself on making new and innovative intros whenever possible.
I hadn't heard that one yet.
That
was
one.
a good
Oh,
one.
a little Street Fighter reference. Yeah, now the thing is, rhyming with the word ninjas, it's tough. You have to think about it. So what fruit rhymes with ninjas? It's oranges.
Yeah.
You see, that's where you have to go with that.
I think that's an old myth that oranges is the only word that doesn't have anything that rhymes with it.
No, and this
not in Clay Clark's world.
Oranges is an easy thing to rhyme with.
Good job.
Just keep throw us verbal challenges. We will perform lyrical cartwheels because I have no other discernible talents. That's all I can do. So all right. So we're talking today about answering the 8 questions that listeners have. I think it looks like there's maybe 3 or 4 listeners that just pelted us with the same kinds of questions, and I think they're great questions. But Chip, I want to make sure the show doesn't become a negative show.
True.
Because all these questions involve, in some way, shape, or form, embracing stoicism. Okay, that's at some point. That's what's going to happen. I'm teaching stoicism, which people are like, stoicism. I don't like that. I want to be a winner and express myself, and I want to talk about my passion. And that's cool, but what happens is if you play football, you're going to get hit.
It happens.
You're going to get hurt. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hurt. That's part of the game. So Chuck, can you read the next question? The next question number 2.
The balance between the business coming first and the business serving us, but also listening to needs/wants of the employees. So what's the balance there between?
All right. There's a book called The Gospel of Wealth by Andrew Carnegie, which, Chuck, I want you to put a link to it on the show notes. And in that book, I'm going to paraphrase. It's a great book and a book that should not be paraphrased. You should buy that book, by the way. It's about 40 pages long total. It's Andrew Carnegie's book called The Gospel of Wealth. You need to read it. I promise if you read it, you'll go, gosh, it's so good. Because he was the world's wealthiest man. And so he decided, I'm just going to write some things that would hopefully help aspiring entrepreneurs. And one of the things he talks about are these things called the 3 Ps. 3 Ps. He says a business has to have great people, right? Great people. It also has to have a great product. And it also has to make a profit. So let's play out this situation. Dr. Sibley, if you have great people, have you ever had somebody you've hired over the years that feels like they're not being paid enough?
Of course, yes.
So let's just play it out. Let's say that your number one goal was to focus just on your people. So you raise their wages as high as possible. Eventually, what are you going to have to do if you pay your people a lot of money?
Well, you're going to have to look at your bottom line.
And maybe you don't make any money at all now as a result of paying your people a lot. So you say, I'll probably raise prices. Well, if you do that, now your product or service is not viable because you're charging too much.
Correct.
And then if you don't have profit, the whole thing dies. So you have to have profit.
Right.
And you have to have a product that people love, and you have to have the people. So the customer will always be irate with you. The customer will always be the most finicky of the 3 areas. The customer gets immediately irate. If their service isn't what they want, they move on.
True.
The employee is probably the second most irate. If they feel like they're not being paid well, they move on. The third, though, is if you don't make a profit, you're eventually going to run out of gas, time, energy, and you are going to die broke. And so I am going to focus on each one of these Ps. I'm going to have Chup go first. Chup, have you ever worked with a business owner who's the nicest person in the world, and they pay their people great, and they have products that are awesome, but they don't make any profit at all, and therefore they live a very sad, poor. Poverty, they live a life of poverty as a result of never making a profit.
Yeah, and it's really sad because a lot of times what I see is that it is these really hardworking people, but they're so caught up in the day-to-day business, they haven't blocked out time to review their numbers weekly.
Right.
So they go years and years without really knowing that they're not making a very good profit. Now they're trapped inside a business that they can't get out of without any money. It's a terrible, terrible doom loop.
Have you ever seen Dr. Sibley, a business owner that's obsessed with profit, and therefore they don't pay their people at all?
Correct. I've seen that. But you got to pay your people, but your people don't really understand your overhead, just like your clients or patients.
Right.
They don't know your overhead.
Right.
But you better know your overhead.
Correct. And there's nobody out there sympathizing with you as the owner. Nobody out there is the owner. No one gets you. And this is something that I hope that the listeners, you guys can take this idea and marinate on it, and if it really, really irritates you, I hope it's not my goal. That's why we have the Chup here to keep me out of the gutter today.
We're going to keep you out.
The reason why country clubs have walls is to keep most people out.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite.
So let me explain this to you. The reason why I live behind a wall, and the reason why I very rarely leave my house, and the reason why is because most people do not understand my worldview. And I'm not trying to convince you of it. So I was going to a church in Tulsa, and it says, all right, everybody, turn to the person next to you, turn to the left, turn to the right, greet somebody, let them know how you're doing. We're going to take 5 minutes to greet everybody before praise and worship starts.
Yeah.
So I turned to the left. Swear to God, turn to the left. There's a guy right there I had to fire. I'm like, how you doing? Turn to the right, a lady. I had to fire her. How you doing? Person behind me is somebody who is a bride for one of my businesses, DJ Connection, back in the day, that I DJ'd for, who is basically very, very, very elated with our service, like loved what we did for her. So, but everyone is, it's like so I'm like, I can't handle the 3 different emotions that are going.
Right.
So I tap out. I tell Vanessa, I'm going to go to the bathroom, which she knows that's code for I'm not coming back.
Right.
Because I'm sitting like in enemy territory. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm going to the bathroom. I don't know, Chubb, tell me about man law here. If I'm urinating and you don't know me and I'm standing at the urinal, is it cool to introduce yourself to a third party, like right there, like, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Even if you do know each other, it's not cool to really just kind of have any type of conversation. So no, eyes forward, finish your business, and you don't talk.
Avoid the nice watch comment.
That's the
Right. So I'm going to the restroom, and I hear, hey, and I'm like,
not looking, but I'm turning around.
Right, but I'm going to the bathroom. And he goes, hey, I'm talking to you. And I'm like going to the bathroom. So I, finished my business. I washed my hands. I turn, and there's this guy. And this guy says, I want you to know you fired my daughter, and we go to the same church as you guys, okay? And it's just ridiculous. You call yourself a Christian, and you fired my daughter. And I said, well, what we do after every wedding is we survey the bride. And if the bride rates the photographer on a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, they get a bonus if they score high. And it looks like your daughter, I didn't, I don't know who she is, but I guess she got fired because she's scoring low. That's how we do it. We fire a lot of people. So she just needs to get better at photography or better at the skill or whatever. And he just continues to go off. And then, I discover is that Tulsa, Texas, Florida, San Diego, places I've been often, are filled with people that I fired.
Yeah,
so what I have to do is sometimes just wear a hoodie, wear dark sunglasses, and hide. Because the 3 Ps, it's impossible to make all 3 parties happy. It's an endless cycle of friction, and that's why Andrew Carnegie decided to retire. Another part of business that's an endless source of friction is expenses. And one of those expenses is office supplies. All of us need to get office supplies. We need to go pick them up. We need to bring them back. And if you want to save money and time on your office supplies, when we come back from the break, we're going to tell you a little bit about a good company called Onyx Imaging. That's onyximaging.com. These guys take care of your printing supplies, your office supplies. Stay tuned. It's the Primetime Show on your radio.
3, 2, 1, boom! Make sure you never miss a broadcast by signing up for the Thrive Time Show podcast.
Rise and grind, the answers you will find. We drop knowledge bombs each and every time. Boom is the sound, you is the noun. The verb is the action, it must happen now. You gotta run the chorus to join the chorus of the Thrive Nation that has gone before you. With no excuse, it's time to let it loose. Apply what you learn, the scoreboard is the truth. All Thrive Nation, think about that thought for a second. The scoreboard is the truth. If you're running a business, how most people keep score is you keep score by the dollars in the bank. If you're a business owner, it's how many dollars in the bank do you have at the end of the game, at the end of the week. That's how you keep score. I know that that's weird, and you might say, God, all you care about is money. No, there's the 3 Ps. You see, you got to have a product that people love. You got to have great people. And you got to have great profits to end up with money in that bank. So you have to wow your customers. The most selfish thing that you could do for your bank account is to wow your customers, right?
So true.
You have to wow your customers, and that's going to pay you the most. But at the end of the day, you determine wins and losses based upon how much money is in the bank. It's the scoreboard, and that's just a thought I want you to think about. I talked about it before the break a little bit, but one of the ways that you can make more money is to spend less. And so when you think about what are your number one reoccurring expenses that are not helping you grow, okay? I don't mind paying money for things that help me grow, but things that are just like dumb things that you have to spend money on. You might say, gosh, you know what? We have coffee. We serve coffee for our clients. So we want to have really great coffee, but we also want to minimize the expense if possible. So for Thrive, we switched over to Imperial Coffee. I like Imperial Coffee. I think the Tim's family is a great family. And it made more sense for us to do that as opposed to Keurig cups, because the Keurig cups, they're more expensive, and the Imperial Coffee is less expensive.
And people like it better.
They do like it.
It's a win-win.
Right. And so I'm just saying that's what you're trying to do is optimize.
Right.
And so if you're thinking about your expenses, and one of your expenses that every business owner has is office supplies, print cartridges, print toner. These are things like you have to get these things, but I don't know if you're super passionate about paying premium prices and spending half your day going to Office Depot fighting through traffic. But Chuck, if you want to get stuff delivered direct to you to save some money, Chuck, who do we recommend?
You want to get a hold of these guys at Onyx Imaging, okay?
Oh.
OnyxImaging.com, ONYX Imaging.com. Like Clay was saying, they'll do same and next day delivery, price matching on your office supplies. One of the big hidden costs that companies have is when their printer goes down.
Oh, good.
And you're in a...
It goes down.
It goes down. When it goes down, the team sits around, Clay.
It's going down.
When it's going down, the team sits around and you're losing money.
Meet me at the printer. It's going down.
So these guys will actually bring you a loaner printer for free, and they will take your printer and fix that thing so that you get all these things fixed, okay? So get a hold of them at 918-627-6611. 918-627-6611, your one-stop business shop for all your needs.
Question number 3. Am I weird? The listener writes, am I weird if I play out all the conversations in my head, scripting my answers and theirs before I actually have them? No. I would say that that's wisdom. I would say that's wisdom. I really am probably more of a stoic mystic than I share openly, except for right now, I guess. I really am calculated with my conversations because of, let me just give you an example. Lee Cockrell, the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts, he once said to me, Clay, if you're going to be honest, you better be funny. I thought about that. He managed 40,000 employees, and he says, if I'm going to be honest, I'd better be funny. So let me just give you an example. There's a person I used to go to church with who their business is absolutely a stupid idea. Now, they're a good person. I separate the idea from the person. Their business idea is stupid. Furthermore, they're lazy. Now, if you take the combination of lazy and stupid,
that's not good.
That's not going to work very well. Now, there's a home fellowship where they used to ask if we would pray for their business. So let me walk you through does this even feel honest, guys? I know, because their business model, I'm not kidding, they make like 10 cents profit per item they sell, and they would have to sell millions to ever break even or to make any kind of income at all. Their goal is to make like $100,000 a year or something, and they're making 10 cents. They're working every weekend, every night with this stupid product, and they're lazy. And so they said at the home fellowship, Chuck, and I remember this, and this is just so hard for me. This is the stuff that freaks me out, Chuck. They said, well, Clay, since you've had a lot of success in business, it seems like there's an anointing on you, an anointing. And so could you pray for us? And I'm thinking to myself, this is what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking, there's no way that you're going to be successful with that business. Furthermore, the reason why you're chronically fired from your day job is because you're lazy. Right. But I said, well, absolutely.
Absolutely, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get some carrots. So I get up, and go get some carrots. And now when I'm getting carrots, that's code for like, what am I going to do? Oh, no. Because God knows if I'm lying. I don't want to lie to God because God's like, hey, I know what you're doing down there, you manipulative SOB.
You're lying in your prayer there.
So I'm like, I need to go to the restroom. Where's the restroom? I'm like trying to think of what to say.
I think I left a baby in my car.
Because to quote Timberlake, sometimes the best thing to say is you want to say nothing at all.
Exactly.
So
Business guru.
Right. So I'm like, guys, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm trying to because it's you pray at the end of home fellowship. So I'm trying to they're going, God, this guy might have a plumbing problem. Has he got a? I'm in there trying to just think of ways. I've got to stay in that bathroom for 8 or 9 minutes if I can delay the prayer time. So I'm in that bathroom and I'm flushing a lot. I'm not kidding. This happened. I'm flushing. I've got the sound of water. They're thinking this guy, he might have fallen in. What's going on? And I'm just trying. It gets awkward because they're going hey, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, just I don't know.
I ate some oysters earlier. Oh God.
Yeah. And I don't want to say anything dishonest, but I'm like, just yeah. And they're like, okay. And they're coming back in 4 or 5 minutes later. We're gonna go ahead and pray without you. And I'm like, okay, well,
if you have to.
Yeah,
I mean,
I get in my car and I'm like, yes, another successful opt-out of a prayer. So I want to ask you, Dr. Sim, have you ever had a patient that's just making you crazy, or an employee who's totally in the wrong, and if you were to tell them the truth, it would blow their mind, and so you have to just avoid it? Or how do you deal with those difficult situations? Because I typically go get carrots, and then I run to the bathroom.
Please join me for the silent prayer.
The silent prayer.
Oh, nice move.
Yes, we all have those situations where we have employees that we hope can carry the ball for us. But the biggest expense in any business is the turnover of employees.
Right.
Retraining.
So that retraining breaks the continuity that you establish in your business. So I try not to fire, but there's times where you have to. And when you do fire, it really cleans the air and things start flowing again. It's just like this one bad apple is spoiling the entire barrel.
That's how it works.
It does. And I would just say you need to take a minute to think about what you're going to say before you say it. Kenneth Blanchard, the best-selling author of The 1 Minute Manager, he said, take a minute, look at your goals, look at your performance, and see if your behavior matches your goals. Because if you don't do that, you're going to experience this thing called dissonance. And dissonance is an inconsistency between your beliefs and your actions. And when you're having beliefs that are not flowing parallel with your actions, you're going to feel like a feeling of guilt, and you're going to feel bad. You're going to say things you don't mean, and you're going to speak out of turn, and you're going to post something on social media you regret. And I just encourage everybody out there to just be very, very measured about what you say. Be very measured about what you say. So yes, that is a good move. I'd also encourage you to look at your accounting. Make sure your numbers are on track. Make sure you're not drifting, and go to hoodcpas.com. That's hoodcpas.com today.
And back to a show that's cooler than the other side of the pillow. It's the Thrive Time Business Coach Show.
It's the Thrive Time Show on your radio. Get it on the broadcast or the podcast down low. We'll teach you the moves to make your business roll. Provide you the fuel to make you want to go. Whether you're a startup or a big-time baller, we'll teach you the systems to increase your dollars. Google Optimize, sales multiplies. We cite it all so we never lies. Pitch yourself as a truth, not a fable. My name is Clark, but I ain't Clark Gable. Next to me, it's Z. He owns Staples. And you can too if you unplug the cable. All right, Thrive Nation, we're answering a ton of questions today from the Thrive Nation. Thank you for emailing us your questions to info@thrivetimeshow.com, where we answer each and every question that is emailed to us. So if you email again, info@thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to get your question answered on the air if it is about business. If you want to email me about Flat Earth, maybe we weave that in. Really, I'm not going to go there, though. If you want to email me about, recently somebody was wanting to know whether I thought it was a good idea to go to space or not. And see, when you ask these questions, these are opinions, and so when you get into opinions...
No, Clay, that's a great idea, and it's a fact.
No, but I'm just saying, if you get into opinions, what's going to happen? Somebody out there right now, you're going, gosh, is he going to tell us? Because I asked the question, that's me. I wanted to know, should we go to space or not? Well, one, I'm not an expert in space travel. What I am is I am a business owner and I'm good at growing businesses. So I like to stick in that topic. But if I were to give you my answer, let's role play. If I give you my answer, then you're going to feel immediately a certain way. So let's say, absolutely. I think we should go to space. I mean, despite the fact that our country has crippling debt that is skyrocketing exponentially due to runaway government spending, and we have people that can't read in ghetto and redneck communities all throughout the world, and the fact that we have a large percentage of people that have no discernible job skills, and the fact that we have people that are living under bridges and overpasses, and we're involved in a lot of conflict around the world, yes, we should take the majority of our resources that we don't have and print more money and spend all of that going to space. Yeah. That's what we should be doing.
So we all agree.
Then you would have to say to yourself, are you not aware of budgets? Do you? And if I said, no, we should not go to space. No, it's a waste of time. Then you would say, are you kidding me? Are you killing the spirit of innovation? So all I'm saying is that's not the kind of stuff we get into on the show. We get into specific best practices that will help you grow your business. And so this next question, it's kind of mean, but I like it. It's question number, it's do you honestly believe that everyone will screw you eventually? Now, I have said this on the show repeatedly, and I will say it again, and hopefully somebody will get this idea. It'll sink in here. 75% of employees, according to the U.S. Chamber and CBS News, do what, Chubb? What's the fun thing they do?
They steal from the workplace, and most do so repeatedly.
Okay.
So that's a fact there.
Now, another little statistic. This is an exciting one, Chubb. 85% of job applicants do what, Chubb?
They lie on their resumes.
According to Inc.
According to Inc.com.
Okay, so now that we've got those are really positive things. This show's positive today.
You can think 15% of people don't lie. That's not any more
So let's
positive.
think about this. I want to picture a big arena that seats 1,000 people. Okay. And I said, all right, folks, if you are here today, and God, by the way, is watching, and we have a little electrodes on your head that will basically
explode.
Well, they'll put it on the screen if you're lying. So we know you can't possibly. We have these electrodes, and it's an amazing system here. If you steal from the workplace, please stand up. Do you realize that 75% of the room would stand up? And if you said, now if you lie in your resume, 85% stand up, right?
850 out of 1,000.
Right.
That's a lot.
So what that means is that now if you hire people, work with me, if you hire people, I believe that, yes, I think everybody will eventually screw you except for the people that never will. So I would like to share positive examples. Devin has worked with us, Devin Woolery, for I don't know how long now.
Oh, the woolly mammoth. He's there.
Do you have any idea?
4 years?
I think it's 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he basically came to work for free because we weren't hiring at the time. He wanted to work to prove himself as a coder. So he worked for free for a couple weeks.
That's a good first step to show you have character.
And he's never screwed me. And so he's not going to because that's his character, I mean, so you think about it. I've worked with Marshall for 9 years.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
9. That's, so you John, 6.
How about old D. Tucker?
Yeah.
You've known that guy for a while.
Right. Tucker's been with us, for about 4 years now. So again, if the people that never screw you, they're not going to screw you. But those shady people, those people that are 75% of the population, those people, they're going to screw you. So your job as an owner is to sift through that cesspool called resumes, look through the vomit called resumes, and find that kernel of corn.
Oh, yeah.
And then just eat that sweet corn.
You go wipe it off real quick.
Right. Yeah, that's how it is for me hiring people. So that's now with that optimistic worldview, we go back to Dr. John Sibley. Sir, you have great people that work for you. The question from the listener was, do we honestly believe that everyone will eventually screw us as a business owner? Can you share your worldview about the human race now that you've hired a lot of people over the years? I mean, how has that shaped your worldview?
I think that about 5% won't.
That's
the way it's been in my career.
About 5%.
About 5%.
Yeah, that's I tell you what, I'm willing to. That's going to be a notable quotable. That's going to be a notable quotable of optimism that I'm going to start saying. I'm going to say 5% of people won't screw you. Dr. John Sibley.
5% of the vomit is corn.
Selah.
Selah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I want to encourage you out there though. If you're here's how you keep yourself from being screwed. Those of you who during the break went to hoodcpas.com, you go to hoodcpas.com, right? And Chubb, I want to put these on the show notes because this is how you prevent yourself from being screwed. Okay, this is how you do it. If you did go to hoodcpas.com, let's say you didn't and you already have a different accountant, you need to look at your numbers every week because the numbers tell the story. The numbers tell that story. You're going to know who's doing a good job. So in South Tulsa, one of my businesses in South Tulsa, I have an employee that did their job right 22% of the time this week. When on the average person who works for us does a 97% success rate.
So close. Yeah.
22%. 22. So that's a number thing. The second move you have to do, Chubb, and I mean this, you got to do it. You have to install call recording in your office. You have to do it. Because if you don't record the calls, what's going to happen is it's going to be a bad situation that's going to occur or that has already occurred, and you're not going to be able to show what was actually said. So you're not going to be able to. So a lot of times, employees that have worked for me over the years, they'll say, "I was on the phone with this guy, Trevor, and Trevor, he says to me, like, I am not happy with your services, and I'm very irate, and I'm not." And you go, "Doesn't sound like Trevor to me." So you listen to the call. You play back the call, and then this is how Trevor talks. Trevor says, "I wanted to let you guys know I was a little frustrated today, and I wanted to see if it's not inconvenient. I don't want to inconvenience you guys, but I wanted to see if I could get a refund because I wasn't happy."
I don't normally do this, but
So you go back to the employee and you say, "What happened?" They go, "This seething man by the name of Trevor, he was on the phone and he said, 'I will gouge out your eyeballs and eat your face if you don't refund me.'" And you're like, "Wow, that was intense." You go back to listen to the call again. Play it again. "I was just going to see if it's any way possible. I don't want to inconvenience you at all, but if I could get a refund, that'd be great."
Tomato.
But the employees will give you a different narrative of what was said than what happened.
Absolutely, trying to cover their own tracks, right?
Right. Also, install video cameras. Chubb, why are having video cameras so powerful?
I had a client that just did this last week.
Preach it.
And it was awesome because now she was able to leave town. She had a trip she had to take, and she got to log onto the camera and see that, guess what? One person on her team was not following any of the scripting. They were talking bad whenever customers would leave the room, talking bad about other team members.
Come on.
And so she found out what was going on and was able to nip it in the bud, like Dr. Sibley said earlier. So it's a huge thing, and you have to do it. It's not unethical. How about that?
Dr. Sibley, pile on, my friend. Talk to us about this.
I have a good friend that is a dentist here in town.
Nice.
And I kind of coach him with his business plan. And he put cameras in his office,
it's
dental
so good.
office.
So good.
Guess what happened? 28% increase in PVs, patient visits.
Yeah.
See?
Just by putting the cameras in there. The placebo effect. People know they're being watched. Oh, it's so powerful. So you say, do you honestly think you'll be screwed eventually? No, I don't think everyone's going to screw us. Dr. Sibley says 5% of employees will not screw you.
Now you know.
And I'm telling you, that's a positive quote right there, Chubb. Not everyone.
Not
5% won't.
There's the gutters, the non-gutter ball right there.
Right
That's what,
there.
the bumpers.
Now, Chubb, I'll tell you what. If you do, though, install those cameras in your office, you're going to discover you might have an employee who's a pest. But if you but in your office or your business, what if you have an actual pest? A roach, a mouse, a mosquito in your mojito, a snake by your lake, ants in your pants, Chubb, bees by your knees. What do you do?
We just hired these guys at my house to be, in fact, so Platinum Pest and Lawn. You got to get a hold of Platinum Pest and Lawn. Call them at 918-376-0857, 918-376-0857. Get a free termite inspection, $200 off your first treatment. Platinum-pestcontrol.com, 918-376-0857.
Bam! Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Thrive Time Radio Show, the place where the business world finds all of their business coaching and marketing solutions for less than $8.25 per hour. Learn more at thrivetimeshow.com. To learn more about whether the earth is flat or not, ask professional athletes.
Chubb, do you care if the earth is flat or not?
I do care that it's not flat.
But do you care? Does it bother you? Do you ever think about it?
Oh, no, I don't.
This is one thing that I don't understand.
Yeah.
And help me. You can help me on this.
Help me help you.
Everything that everyone is interested in, I don't care about.
I don't think you need help for that. It's kind of one of your superpowers.
I literally don't care about pretty much what everyone else cares about. So it's funny.
I would agree with that. Just after getting to know you the last few years here.
like, I mean, I'm gonna pull up Fox News right now just to cover this because I think as an entrepreneur, you have to care about how businesses work, and you have to be obsessed about doing a good job, which I think no one else cares about. I don't think anyone else cares about this. I think people view their job as like a means to an end, but it's not something that they it says in the Bible you should work as unto the Lord.
Right.
I think that most people just don't care at all about their job. And if you bring that mentality into running a business, it's not going to work. And I think my superpower that God has given me is I sincerely don't care about anything that most people care about. So I'm going to list off things I don't care about today.
Let's do it.
California residents are mad.
PO'd.
It says PO'd by far left. I don't care. And I'll tell you why I don't care. Because I can't control it. You know, and I think that government should get smaller because it allows freedom, but I can't do anything about it. I can just vote, so I vote. Another one is man paralyzed fighting for his life after a coral snake bite.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I don't care either, and I'll tell you why I don't care. Because Chup, because I can't do anything about it.
Right.
And you know, there's somebody, this is a story right now. Think about how many people are going to die during today's show of a snake bite or some shark attack or some. It happens every day.
Every minute, every second.
You know, and people run around the office going, did you hear about that snake bite? But I'm scrolling down. It says, U.S. jets intercept 2 nuke-capable Russian bombers. Again, I have to choose not to care because it would take my joy to know, because I do know there are Russian submarines that are getting very close to our coast, and there's been a lot of coverage here. Chuck, did you know about the nuclear submarines? Did you know about the nuclear?
Not a whole lot.
The Russian nuclear submarines have actually been seen off of the coast of Florida. So this is talking about bombers. I mean, I just want you to know, if you're the president of the United States, hats off to Obama, hats off to Trump. How do you guys sleep? Because you have to know all this stuff.
It would be impossible.
I mean, every day you're like, sir, there's a terrorist alert. And you're like, okay, sure. And then your wife says, what do you want to eat tonight? I mean, you're trying to talk to your President Obama is trying to talk to his daughters about. Right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go out today, and we're going to go watch a movie. And they're like, President, excuse me, sir, can I grab your attention, sir? Yeah, we have a terrorist level threat. What do you want to do? And he's like, well, I think I'm going to, because it's like they're never done. The constant stream of data. Carrie Underwood, sad story. You know, it's just and I think if you don't turn off the social media, Chup, you don't turn off the online interruptions in your day, it's not possible to be successful as an entrepreneur, let alone to be thoughtful. And so we have a listener who asked this next question, and it sounds like it's coming from a thoughtful person who's thinking about what matters, and they're thinking about the things that they can control, which is a great step in the right direction to be a successful entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So, Chup, go ahead and read us the question.
It said, is it weird to think about all your conversations you had the previous day and how you could have responded differently or better with those conversations?
Dr. Sibley, let's start with you, my friend. You every day, I mean, you want to master chiropractic care.
Correct.
You've been in the chiropractic care industry for how long?
Over 25 years.
And you always want to get better.
Correct.
Every day?
Every day.
So do you often drive home and think to yourself, how could I have adjusted that patient maybe better? What could I have said better? How could I have encouraged them more? I mean, do you think about these things, or you just, as soon as you finish work, you're like, well, I'm going to get a burrito?
No, I think about those things.
Right.
I think about those things. We all have to get better.
I don't think most people do, though.
But people and healthcare, I mean, no two people respond the same. So you have to learn to tailor-make your treatment protocol or your treatment plan, how to treat this patient and get their health back. And sometimes that takes a little extra time in your brain thinking about, maybe I should do this or try this, because they both have worked in the past, but that may work better for this patient and it may work better for the other patient.
Can I tell you guys why I personally like to have only 15 clients? Do
Yes.
you know why this is?
Yes.
Because I think about them all the time.
Right?
So the other day, I thought of a move for Corey Minter with Trinity Employment. He has vendors he works with and customers that are a big deal for him. and he wants to honor them and find a way to tell them thank you in a memorable way. So I suggested, why don't you go to the trophy store and buy a trophy that, and this is a move I've used a lot, okay? But I had to think about it while I was taking a shower. I know it's weird, but I'm taking a shower, and it occurred to me, oh, that move, I remember that move, you know? So, but he asked me a question on Thursday. I had the answer for him on like Monday.
Yeah.
Just getting ready for work on Monday, and I said, oh, dude, what you got to do is you got to go to the trophy store. And usually someone will order a crazy huge trophy for a cheerleading event or a wrestling event or bowling, whatever. And it's going to be huge, and the customer won't pay for it, or the name is engraved improperly. And so they're going to have that thing at all the trophy stores. You need to go in there and get one of those, right? That's like a bowling trophy or something. And then at the top of it, take off the ornament that has the bowling guy or whatever and have them put on a dog, you know? And then you give them a trophy. It's the top dog trophy. And have them put their name on there. And so he's like, dude, you got to be kidding me. I think it's going to be on our social media here. I think people put awesome. He texted to him. He's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, no. This is a move. He goes, you're crazy. I'm like, no, this move works. These are moves. He goes, okay. He does the move. His wife took a photo. I think it was his wife or one of his office people took a photo of him giving the top dog trophy to a guy. And that customer, what do you do with a 6-foot trophy?
You laugh and you're wowed and you remember.
When can you fit it in your car?
Yeah, who knows?
It's just,
strap it down.
Right, but I'm saying is that's why I like to work with just a few number of clients per person. That's why all of our coaches who work with us work with a maximum number of 15 clients as well, because you're thinking about your clients all the time.
Well, it's because you care at the end of the day, right? When you're thinking about how to get better, it's because you care about the people that you work with and work for, and you want to do a good job. So I think this is a very not weird thing, Thrive Nation person who asked this question about, is it weird if you think about those conversations from the previous day?
Do you know why most people spend their entire day wondering about what's on Fox News? Do you know why that is?
Because they don't want to think about these things?
Because they don't care about their job.
Right.
They're looking for a distraction that will take them away from the mental action of trying to think about their job.
Exactly.
Most people, if you talk to the average American, and it's never going to change, by the way. This will never get better. You have to embrace it. According to Gallup, and I want you to put this on the show notes here, okay? Well, be stoic here. Let it happen. 70% of Americans hate their jobs. 70. And do you know? And it's Forbes has the stats on that, Chup. So, Chup, why, Dr. Sibley, why do you think 70% of Americans hate their jobs?
Because they don't have the ambition to get out and become an entrepreneur, and they don't have the education, or they may not have the drive, and they're in a mundane type of setting where they're not really stimulated.
So if again we're looking at the stats up here on the big screen, I mean it's 70% of Americans hate their jobs, and if you hate your job, here's one of the reasons. If you don't need to be managed, you'll become a manager. But if you need to be managed, then you're not going to be a manager. And then so when somebody comes up to you every day and says, "Hey, tuck that shirt in." You know, I swear, you want me to tuck that shirt in? I swear. And then the boss comes up there, "Hey, Carl, what's going on?" You say, "I'm doing good." "Hey, Carl, could you make sure you're not typing in shorthand? We want you to write the long form. You keep using acronyms. You cannot make up acronyms. I need you to write." "Oh, yeah. I swear." "Hey, Carl, I noticed you got back from lunch here at 12:07, and your lunch break ends at noon. I swear."
We'll have a normal lunch.
And that's it. I'll go on Fox News when I get home and watch a bunch of crap that I can't control. I swear, I'm going to go to the casino. I'll go to and ding 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 ding. I'll take a mojito. Yes, I'll do 2 mojitos. Do you want a margarita? You guys. Energy, Chup, energy. Glow sticks. Casino. Woo, distraction.
Dead.
Alcohol. Casino. Lottery tickets. Woo, yeah. Woo. Then, Chup, put this on the show notes. According to the Federal Reserve, the average American has less than $400 saved. $400.
That's a real statistic. Right?
You know why, though? Because you're at the casino having mojitos, right? Trying to win the ding 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 ding. I'll just take 2 lottery tickets. I don't normally do this, but I'll take 2. There's a guy in front of me the other day, hilarious guy. This guy's a fun guy. He's in front of me, and he's obviously completely addicted to gambling, right? And he's about my age, and he's with this kid, and I'm not going to pass judgment. but his kid is with him, and I'm not kidding. He goes, "Well, I don't normally." There's a guy at QT. He's like, would you like? I think it was actually Come and Go. I think it was. He goes, "Would you like anything else today, sir?" And he's like, "Well, I don't normally do this, but I'll take one of the scratch whatevers, and I'll take 2 of those, And I don't do lottery tickets. I'm not really sure. There's like scratch ones or something. So I'm 2 people behind him. So then I get up to the line to buy my stuff, and he's back because he's got to get some more.
Oh my gosh!
So I get in the Hummer, and I'm like, I like to observe human behavior. I just like to enjoy it. To me, human people watching is fascinating. So I'm watching this guy, and he just keeps doing this cycle. And I'm telling you, you wouldn't do that cycle if you're an entrepreneur, because you would be having to be a good steward of your finances. You would have to. Entrepreneurship teaches you so much about managing money, managing emotions. There's just so much good stuff there. But the question is it weird to think about your conversations you had the previous day and how you could have responded differently? No. And furthermore, it's weird if you don't. You're a sick freak if you don't think about how you can do better at your job. You're just a real sick freak. I mean, you're running around there without pants, dressed up like Cobra Commander on a Tuesday. That's what you are. You're a sick freak.
Just numb and dumb, just not even thinking about life.
You're a nude bicycle rider in downtown Tulsa. You're a sick freak. I mean, you're eating wood glue. Why are you eating wood glue? You're eating glue made for wood. You're
not wood. You're not a tree.
You're the kind of guy who staples your mouth shut. It's weird. I mean, you're a sick freak. You know what I mean? What you need to do is get it together. Chump, I'm serious though. If you don't ask yourself, how could I have done my job better yesterday? How could I have spoken better? You're a real sick freak.
Well, you're obviously not going to get better either. So you are now adrift. You have no aim, and you're not getting towards your goals in your life. And it's just something that, do it, make it intentional, right? Make it intentional. Plan, hey, on my way home, I'm going to think about these things. Or during 20 minutes of my meta time in the morning, I'm going to think about my previous day. You have to actually plan it into your day. But if you do, there is no choice but to get better.
Kenneth Blanchard, the author of The 1 Minute Manager. This book was recommended to me, by the way, by Chet Cadjo, who is the head of Quick Trip. He says in this book, take a minute, look at your goals, look at your performance, and see if your behavior matches. One more time. Take a minute, look at your goals, look at your performance, and see if your behavior matches your goals. And when I think about somebody that helps you stay in line, somebody that helps you to not get adrift physically, that's our good friend Dr. John Sibley on today's show.
And handsome
Chuck, tell the listeners about how to get a hold of Dr. John Sibley. What's going on at drjohnsibley.com?
Well, you can get a hold of him by going to his website at drjohnsibley.com. That's drjohnsibley.com. Or give him a call at 918-749-5741. If you've got back pain, neck pain, nausea, plantar fasciitis, posture problems, asthma, restless
pain,
legs, scoliosis,
disc problems,
sciatica,
shingles,
sinus issues.
Give us the contact information. How do we get a hold of Dr. Sibley?
918-749-5741, 918-749-5741, or drjohnsibley.com.
Don't paint me into a corner. I'm going to have to say something again here. 918-749-5741.
You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrive Time Show.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. 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 This is Clay Clark on the mic again. Myopic focus, tunnel vision. I'm focused on the mission to teach you the skills and give you the plans. Broadcasting from my lands to the left, to the Portlands. I'm here to tell you you can do it, yes you can. And now my friend, you got 2 fans. He be the Z, comma, ands. I'll be the C, yes, ands. Now let's kick it like Batman, bam, and get a little nuts like pecans. Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. For those of you who listen in Tulsa, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I wanted to tell you thank you. We actually are now in the top 5 as of the time of this recording for podcasts in the category of business in the whole world. And Chuck, there's 530,000 podcasts in the world.
Yep, on iTunes.
And where are we ranking right now in the world?
Number 53 of all categories.
In the world.
In the entire planet.
In the world. Around the world. world around the
Like he said,
world.
just like he said.
What that means is you guys obviously don't know what you're listening to. You guys think it's something
Somebody
else.
has messed up.
You think it must be something important. No, but we appreciate you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, we'd encourage you to do so. And if you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, we're going to give you 2 free tickets to our next in-person Thrive Time Show workshop. Now, Chubb, this next workshop, when's our workshop coming up here? It's in June.
June 22nd and 23rd, Friday, Saturday.
Can you repeat that again one more time?
June 22nd and 23rd. It's a Friday and a Saturday.
So if you want to book your tickets, it's a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. We have had great feedback from everybody. Everybody's just enjoyed it. But we had one guy at the last one who wasn't happy, and I want to share his story because he couldn't be here today, but he could be on Google writing reviews.
I think he's outside, isn't it? No.
He was able to write reviews, and because I want to deal with this, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, let's do it.
He attended the workshop and got to the workshop late, a couple hours late, and left a couple hours early, and spent the majority of the workshop on his cell phone talking to whoever. And the great irony of our business is that the workshops is we teach you how to focus on your business. And it's a workshop, so it means you have to work. It's interactive. It's 45 minutes. We teach more marketing, and then we take a 15-minute break. We teach sales, and then we take a break. Search engine optimization, we take a break. And he literally couldn't take a break from making calls. He just would make calls all the time. And so after making calls quite a bit during the conference, I had to walk up to him, and I said, hey, boss, how's it going? I said, hey, I don't know how to bring this up to you. I'm going to try going kind of light here. Hey, if you could turn off your phone, because when you're on the phone, people in the back, they hear you. They hear what's going on.
It's annoying.
The ring thing, the buzzing, ding, 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 ding. And so I need you to just kind of, and he says, well, I paid a lot of money to be here. I said, okay, that's cool. So I'll refund you, but we need to have you peace out, because you can't be making calls during it's like going to the movie theater. Have you been to a movie theater before and you have somebody who's at the theater who continues to make cell phone calls in the theater?
It happens, and it's the worst.
And so what you do, if you're an owner like me, you kick somebody out, and if you're a troll like you go on Google and you write a bad review. And so I just want to encourage you out there, Mr. You know who you are. Thank you for, and it's cool as you can go on your profile and you can see all the companies you've left reviews for, and none of them are organizations that really I would, you probably, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of them. So I'm just going to say that you, my friend, thank you for being transparent, and I'm being transparent back.
Now we know who you are.
Thank you. Yar. Who yar. So anyway, that's how that happens sometimes. But we talk about this. We're going to answer your questions that the listeners have today. We're talking about the answer the questions that you have. And a lot of the questions today are tough questions. They all kind of come back to stoicism. So, Chubb, what's the next question?
All right, we're going to get into what do you do when employees become entitled?
Oh, see, this could get negative.
It's hard to get the gutter balls here, the bumper rails up.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 specific moves that will fix this problem. If you do the moves, it fixes the problem. If you don't, you're screwed.
It's pretty much that simple. It
1,
really is.
I want to make sure it says this on the show notes. Do a group interview every week. 1, do a group interview every week. I talked to a woman this week who has a call center, and she had a rep who'd worked with her for about a year. Like I say, a call center. There's like 5 people that answer the phone in her offices. It's a medical business. And she put up cameras just like we tell all of our clients to do. And she was shocked about the horrible things people said about her husband and her when she wasn't present. And I said, well, it's because, they're entitled. They feel like you owe them a paycheck and they've never been held accountable. And so she's like, well, how do I fix it? I said, well, you can't fix it today. What you got to do is start interviewing now because you're behind. You got to start interviewing and never stop. I always want to have more candidates than what you possibly need. The second is you want to nip it in the bud as soon as possible if you have replacements. And I want Dr. Sibley to break this down in just a minute. And then you want to fire when ready. Fire when ready. So Dr. Sibley, first off, why can we really never stop recruiting?
First round draft picks.
Oof, talk about it.
Well, I'm always looking for a first round draft pick. Now I've got pretty much a dream team now.
The dream team.
I have the greatest staff right now, and it's such a blessing for me because I don't have to think about all of those administrative things.
Oh, yes.
My head is strictly on healthcare.
Yes.
Because everything's being taken care of.
Come on now.
Which is what you do and what you love, right?
It is. And I've got the dream team. But I had to work to get that. We're always looking for a first round draft pick.
Yes. Now, step 2, you want to nip it in the bud, if possible, if you have replacements. I want to make sure Dr. Sibley can share this with because Dr. Sibley, I'm sure in your office, you've never gone into your office and thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I have to fire that person. But you didn't have a replacement yet, and I'm sure you've never had to put up with somebody until you could fire them. I'm sure this has never happened. But for our listeners out there who want to immediately fire people as soon as they catch them doing something crazy, why is that a recipe for disaster?
Well, you just can't do that because it's like a conveyor belt. Your business is like a conveyor belt. And there's a product that comes off the conveyor belt. And if you go ahead and fire someone without having a replacement, then that conveyor belt or profit or the number of patients that you see slows down. So you've got to think this through. Hey, she's doing something or he's doing something better than no one there. So that's why I think the group interview is so very, very important, because you're always looking for that person.
It is absolutely imperative to your success that you never stop doing that group interview. If you do stop doing your interviews, you are absolutely going to lose. Now, Chup, why do you have to fire when ready? When you're ready, why do you eventually have to fire? Because I think a lot of people are just afraid of it.
You've got to pluck those weeds out of your garden or they will spread. They'll contaminate your culture.
Oh.
And the when ready part is what Dr. Sibley was just talking about. If the company's not ready, the systems aren't there, the person to replace them isn't trained up, you're going to find yourself having to do that job or the ball will get dropped. And that's a good way to have an endless schedule and no time freedom just by flying off the handle and firing people whenever you feel like it.
You know, if you want to hire a contractor that's not going to fly off the handle, you want to hire a company that's going to go out there and help you build your commercial building with excellence. You want to call our good friends at Will.i.am. Will.i.am's Contracting.
Wait, I think that's Williams.
Williams?
Williams Contracting.
What are you saying?
Yeah, Williams Contracting.
Why is it?
Get a hold of these guys. You can call them at 918-682-5511, 918-682-5511. If you want to add on to your building, these guys are going to, your church, your pharmacy, whatever you've got, they're going to get you a quote within 3 days, and their goal is to exceed the owner's expectations every time. Will-con.com, 918-682-5511.
Williams Contracting.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And Chup, I'm going to ask you a tough question.
Okay.
I want to get Dr. Sibley. So we're answering the questions for the listeners today, but I want to ask you a question, and I want Dr. Sibley to have the same question asked because I have a strong opinion on this, and I'd like to get your take on this. In our culture today, 88% of people read reviews.
Yes.
Previous to making a purchase. 88% of people. 88. Wow. I mean, wow. Think about how
that's
reviews.
That's a solid B+.
Think about how reviews shape our decisions where we're going to go eat, what resort we're going to go to,
movies, what products you're going to buy.
Right. But yet I ask you, the listener, and I would ask you this, Chup, I'd ask you, Dr. Sibley, what percentage of the time do we as consumers write positive reviews? Or write reviews at all?
We as consumers or me as consumers?
I'm saying as a culture.
As a culture, I personally don't ever write reviews, so I would say maybe 1 out of 100 people goes out there and they become a Google local guide, or they're like really into providing feedback. So a very, very small sliver of society actually leaves reviews.
Why?
Because people are busy. People have lives, you know. You go out and have an awesome broccoli cheese soup and a bread bowl at Panera, and my first thought is not, hey, I'm going to get on Panera's Google My Business listing and go ahead and give them a 5-star review. So that's kind of, you just move on to your day, you wrangle up your kids, and you get out of the restaurant and you go to your next thing. So by default, the only people out there leaving reviews are the ones that are upset because they need that cathartic release. They feel like they want to get that out into the world.
So do you take issue with people that write negative reviews without telling the business owner?
I think they should, right? I think you should tell the business owner first, right? Hey,
Do you think it's unethical to write bad reviews about a company without first informing them that you were upset?
I think it's the land of the free, right? So you can say whatever you want. You can write whatever you want.
I'm not asking about the legality of it. I'm saying, do you personally think it's just a jacked up idea?
Yeah, I would not do it. I would not do it.
Dr. Sibley, what's your take on this? Do you think it's not cool to write? Do you think it's a bad idea, poor form, to write a bad review about a company without first having previously expressed your discontent and allowing the company an opportunity to fix the problem?
I really do, because you're not really giving the company a chance to explain or apologize or fix the problem. That's what we want to do. We want to get the problem fixed,
right,
and not get a bad review.
But I think that people, as a culture, because so few of people have a successful company. I mean, if you look at the statistics out there, I'll put this on the show notes, okay? 90% of small businesses fail. 90% of small business startups fail. 90% of startups. 80% of businesses overall fail. So 90% of startups fail, but the ones who are not a startup, they fail. 80%, right? Think about that. 90% of startups fail. 80%. Now, of those that are left, that 10%, 15% that are still left, almost none of those companies ever make a profit. So you have like 2 to 3% of the American businesses out there ever make a profit. So it's very rare that you're going to find a successful company. And I think that because most people have never built a successful company, they immediately go off on businesses and they forget that the families that the business supports, and they forget the hard work the owner's putting into it, and they just immediately get up there on Mount Judgment. And now with social media and all the different things that are out there, people are allowed to write whatever they want with zero anonymity, zero accountability.
Right.
It's completely anonymous.
Yeah.
I just want to get your take on that. I mean, Dr. Sibley, do you? I mean, if you ever read like a Tulsa World article or you'll watch a YouTube video, you ever notice like just the horrible, hate-filled speech that follows these articles? Have you seen these things?
Yes.
Does it bother you?
Of course it does. But I leave reviews, but I leave a review when I'm wowed.
Nice.
I'm wowed by
Nice.
something. But I don't leave a review, a negative review, because I want to get to the manager.
Right.
I will go to the manager and talk to him and say, hey, look, we can make this place better.
Right.
We can make it a lot better if we'll just serve your patrons better.
But that's the entrepreneurial mindset, which I don't think is present for people. I just don't think most people think that way. And so I would just tell you that if you're listening right now as a business owner and you're going, gosh, I have a bad review and it makes me crazy. That guy attended my conference.
It was on his phone.
It was on his phone. And he would not stop getting on his phone. And he was complaining. And he was, you can't let it take your joy.
Right.
Any of your joy, even 1% of your joy, because if you let it bother you at all and you screwed up and actually scaled a successful company, you're going to have a hate parade. I'm serious. Like you're not, and that was the hardest part for me of growing DJ Connection was knowing that if we did 100 weddings, a typical weekend, we would do 80 at the peak, 80 weddings.
So that's 1 or 2 out of, that's 3%, right?
Knowing that I would screw up one wedding. I'll get one wedding. I'll give you an example. There was a lady who worked at a local bookstore, and it's a big prominent bookstore, and I love buying books. I go into the bookstore, and I said, hey, what's going on, And the person greets me and says, oh, hey, can I help you? I said, yeah, I'm looking for this book. I go get the book. I don't remember what book it was, but I go get the book. I come back. I go check out. And there she is. Ring, ring, ring. It's a bride that we provided entertainment for. And I had been in business for about 4 years at this point. So I said, hey, Megan, how's it going? I remember her name. Megan, how's it going? How long? You've been married now, 6 months now? And she goes, you ruined my wedding. And there's a line of customers. And I'm like, well, I'm really sorry. I mean, I'd be happy to give you a refund. Or she goes, no. You'll get what you deserve. I've told everybody how much I hate you and your company.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, okay, I'd like to give you a refund. It's not about a refund. You can't redo a wedding. It just continues just slamming me. I realize if she's going to hang on to that for the rest of her life, then I can't do anything about it. But I, at the time, didn't realize that right away. So for weeks, I tried to call her,
lamenting,
reach her, make it right. And she wouldn't let it be right because she doesn't want it to be right because she wants it to have no solution. She wants it to be an endless grind because she is not happy with her job. She wants to take the joy out of mine.
Misery loves company, right?
It does love company. And so I just wanted to tackle that. 'Cause I know there's somebody out there listening who's like, gosh, I'm so frustrated. I get a bad review. What do I do? Let me tell you what. I also immediately, as soon as I see a bad review, my immediate thought is, oh, and then I let it go. I give myself like 5 seconds. And it's just something I've had to learn over time. And when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the endless friction of business. Because if you run a business, you will never get to a place where there's not friction. And I want to talk about the 3 sources of friction that never end, because I think that could be helpful for somebody. Also, Chup, if you're out there and your car has some friction, you know, and you need to get that oil change, Chup, has so much friction, your engine's kind of burned up.
It's sticking. That's
Chup,
not
you
good.
need to go out there. You need to fix your car, fix the brakes. The brakes are worn down.
You got
The
battery issues.
you have a transmission problem, all that grinding. Your heat and air systems are worn out. Your suspension and alignment needs some work. You got to go visit our good friends at RC Auto Specialists. Chubb, what's their phone number?
918-872-8115. It's 918-872-8115. Or you can check them out at rcautospecialists.com. rcautospecialists.com. Again, 918-872-8115. These guys have been in business. They've got combined 80 years of experience working on Fords. So if you've got that Power Stroke diesel that needs service or repair, get a hold of those guys. 918-872-8115.
They're located right next to the world's last video store, the Family Video off Elm and Broken Arrow. Stay tuned.
To claim your tickets to the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop for free, all you have to do is to subscribe to the Thrive Time Show on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com. To claim your star in the National Star Registry, we can't help you.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio, and where we're answering questions that you, the listeners, have been asking. And some of these questions are just, they're inherently, they could come across as negative. We like the show to be really positive and uplifting. And so what we're going to do here, Chubbs, I might have to break into song, you know, Bette Midler.
Okay.
From a distance, the ocean meets the sea. And how does the rest of it go?
I have no idea.
God is watching us. God is watching us.
Bet, is
God
that you?
is watching us.
Bet? Are
From
you
a
here?
distance. Do-do. I believe I can fly.
There we go. I know that one.
I believe I can. We might have to get into like all positive stuff after we answer this final question, because this is kind of a dark question. This is like the Darth Vader.
It's real, though.
Why is there endless business friction?
Because there's always a Darth Vader. You got to understand there's always a Darth Vader. Chup, I want you to put this on the show notes so all the listeners can embrace this. These are things that are never going to improve, and I'm going to fire them off, and it's going to happen. You're always going to have an upset customer every single day if you provide more than 100 services a day or products a day. Every single day, you'll have an upset customer. That's one. 2, every single day, if you have more than 10 employees, you will have one of them that is upset about something. They could be upset with the other coworker. They could be upset with the weather. They could be upset that how come someone gets paid more, but they're always going to be upset. You're going to have a customer that's always upset that you charge too much, regardless of how low you charge. You can't lower your prices low enough. You cannot. You cannot. You're always going to have frustration about how much taxes you pay. I want to explain this to the listeners. The Trump tax cuts recently cut taxes, or did they? Thoughts? So travel, you used to be able to write off your travel. When you do a business trip, you get to go, you can write off entertainment and travel. That was a thing. They've removed, in large part, the ability to do that as part of the tax cut. Also, because of my income and where I'm at, I actually pay more taxes. So I could be upset about it, but instead I stoically embrace what I cannot control. I embrace what I cannot control, the circle. But what happens is there's more things. Somebody's always going to leave you a gift in your bathroom if you have more than 50 employees. I went into the bathroom the other day, Chup, after Classic Clean and cleaned that thing. And Chup, were you in there in the day of the nausea? Were you in there, Chup? Where the smell was.
Yes.
No, I'm not kidding. The smell. Now let me explain to you how life works, folks. If you're in a public restroom, it's called a courtesy flush. When you're doing what you do, you flush as you go. This is the system.
You got to know.
Somebody though left a gift, and it was so horrible smelling. Right? And then after someone left a gift, no, this is what happened. I had to deal with this. Then somebody else came there and stacked
a gift.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
What is wrong?
And I'm saying it happens every month. Another example. These are just things.
Wait a minute. Gift stacking. That is. Come on, people.
Somebody leaves toilet paper or trash on your floors every day. It's going to happen. They're never going to stop it. They're never going to stop it. Not going to do it. Every day, you're going to have a customer that owes you money that doesn't pay you. Every day. They're not going to pay. Every year, you're going to find yourself in a lawsuit or a potential lawsuit or somebody threatening legal action because of something that they are wrong about. Every single day, someone's going to touch your glass and leave marks on it because they're glass touchers. Every day, someone's going to steal your stuff if you have more than 50 employees. A lot of headphones. I actually watched a guy on camera years ago put on the headphones and then walk out of the building wearing them. Amazing. Big headphones like the ones I have on right now. And so every single day, if you have more than 100 customers, one's going to claim they were overcharged. Every single day, if you have more than 100 customers, someone's credit card's going to be declined, and they're going to pretend like they didn't know about it, and they're never going to come back and pay you. Every single day, your stuff is going to break. Someone's going to drop your camera and break like I think the lens is like a Tamron's, $700, $800, $1,200. I love buying new lenses. That's one of my hobbies. So every single day, somebody is going to emotionally attack you. Every single day. Every single day, someone on your team is going to try to miss a deadline. Every single day, someone's going to write something horrible about you on social media. Horrible about you if you have more than 100 customers a day. So, you want success? I say promotion equals problems. So, you want success? I say promotion equals problems. So, you talk about success. You want success? You want success. You want to grow that business? I'll grow your business. I'm worried about growing you. Because you, the kind of person you have to become to run a successful company, that has to happen before the successful company. You got to change as a person. Proverbs 10:4 would state, I'm reading this to you, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. This is another proverbial quote here. Proverbs 13:11. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. So, Dr. Sibley, if you had started out as a chiropractor day one, and you were given the client load, the patient load that you have now from day one, could you have mentally handled it when day one, if you started, hey, day one, I start my business, all of a sudden I have a huge staff?
No.
It's an easy answer, huh?
Easy answer. Wouldn't have the experience. I would have probably made everybody mad. They would have had to wait. It's a learning process. Success is a learning process. And as you grow, thank God, you learn those skills that you can handle more and more people efficiently, okay?
Right.
And that's why they come back. Our patients, your clients, they vote with their feet.
Right.
They just walk out and never come back.
So if you go to drjohnsibley.com, drjohnsibley.com, you can learn more about Dr. John Sibley, but I would encourage you to go in there and just see the process, see the mechanism, see how his chiropractic business runs. And Chup, I had a really, really weird Friday. Okay. And I would like to just share what happened on Friday with you, Dr. Sibley, the YouTube friends, the top 5 podcast listeners on iTunes. Really, I want to keep it private, okay?
I'm excited about this private conversation.
I had 3 private conversations that happened, and I will share them in a vague way so no one could guess who they are, okay? But one is I had a person who I helped them go from a startup to being a multi-million-dollar business, and they don't work anymore at all because the systems are in place.
Yeah.
They literally don't have to work. True story. And this person began crying. And I said, what's going on? And she says, I don't have a purpose. And I said, huh? She goes, I thought it was like getting time freedom and financial freedom, but I have it. And I literally do not have to work anymore at all. And I don't know, like there's only so many vacations I can do. And I don't have a purpose. And I said, you need to think about your F6 goals, your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. Do it over the weekend, put it on paper, and put it into the calendar. Just a true story. True story. It happened. Not exaggerating. Probably 3 hours later. And I have this talk probably once a year with a client, because once I help a client get to massive success, it always goes there.
Right.
No less than 3 hours later, somebody else, same situation. Then I went out for lunch, and probably one of the craziest, maybe coolest, craziest conversations ever. A person that I know very well reached out to me and said, I want to do lunch. I said, okay. They said, hey, I would like for you to take over my company. I'll just give it to you, and you can just pay me. True story.
Whoa.
It's a huge company.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll just give it to you, and you can just pay me residually because I can't handle the emotional stress. I cannot handle the complaints. I can't handle the firing, and I'd like to just have you take it. And so I'm going, okay. And I know this person well.
Right.
But I honestly think for their emotional health, it's the best thing in the world. And I said, let's think about this, because let's make sure you're making a wise decision. Let's not. But he thought about it a lot, and it was like a long-term. So I honestly think that's going to happen. I think that's going to end up happening. There'll be a company that I'm going to run, because it's just like, it's not because the person's a bad person or an idiot. It's just they grew too fast emotionally.
Yeah.
The quality of the work is there, but they just emotionally can't handle that. And so if you're listening out there today and you're going, gosh, I need help emotionally managing people, you're not alone. But that's a huge reason why I'd encourage you to book your tickets to our workshop, because we walk you through that. And let me tell you what, I know the way, I go the way, I show the way, I've been through it. I've been screwed. Dr. Sibley's been screwed. Eric Chupp's been screwed. We've all been screwed. And we want to rendezvous with you to help you become successful and to keep your head from exploding. We'll bring some duct tape. We'll just tape your head to keep it from exploding. But if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can find the podcasts, the video trainings, the workshop tickets, and the one-on-one business coaching, all there at thrivetimeshow.com. As always, 3, 2, 1, boom.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminix, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah, so here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months, or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk, kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. As you can see, it's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us, make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.